Two massive developments that show just how brutally Iran is humiliating the collective might of the US and the illegal settler colony. And this explains why these two rogue entities have been bombing hospitals, schools, and bridges in Iran in their sheer frustration. If you can't defeat Iran militarily, then let's bomb their civilian population and kill everyone there. This seems to be the new mantra of the cowards from the US and the settler colony. So much for the two best armies in the world. So thug Pete Hegseth has sacked his army chief right in the middle of a war, and Iran has destroyed one more F-15 fighter jet and even released the video of his shooting. But Iran is losing the war, says Israeli lapdog Donald Trump. This would be the broad focus of my video today. Also in my video, how Iranians expats are now returning home to stand with their country. So please stay tuned. So the Donald Trump's administration has sacked its army chief. Yes, you heard it right. US Army Chief of Staff Randy George was fired on Thursday by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Now you tell me, under what circumstances would a country fire its army chief right in the middle of a raging war? Unless, of course, you are either being hammered by your enemy or the general in question has refused to follow your illegal orders, or both. No sane general would agree to make his soldiers cannon fodder to satisfy the genocidal urge of his rogue leader. That's precisely what appears to have happened in this case. I'm sure the general himself would like to tell his story at some point, but either way, this is a public confession of a humiliating defeat by the US military. Latest reports say that Hegseth has also fired two more generals, namely General David Horden and Major General William Green Jr. And if this wasn't enough, the Iranian military released this video claiming to have shot down another American fighter jet. As it emerged, the fighter jet in question was an American F-15. This is the second major blow to the US Air Force after the Iranian destroyed an F-35 fighter jet. On this occasion, however, the pilot too is reported to have been killed. But Trump and his minions would tell you that they have decimated the Iranian military and their missile power. These facts from the ground aside, even the American media is now broadcasting the truth on the Iranian military. This is CNN reporting how half of Iranians' missile launchers are still intact despite indiscriminate bombings by the US and Israeli terrorists for over a month now.
We have some breaking news for you tonight with a CNN exclusive report, as sources are telling us here tonight that recent U.S. intelligence assessments found roughly half of Iran's missile launchers are still intact, and that thousands of one-way attack drones are still in Iran's arsenal tonight. That's despite daily U.S. and Israeli airstrikes that we've seen against Iranian military targets for the past 5 weeks. And I should note, this assessment that my colleagues are reporting on tonight might include launchers that are currently inaccessible, such as those that are buried by strikes or not just completely destroyed. The intelligence, though, does offer a more nuanced picture that we're getting of Iran's capabilities that they still have right now than what we have heard from the White House since the beginning of this war.
There is also disquiet amongst the US military generals over the Trump administration's desperation to hide its fatalities. Iran has repeatedly claimed to inflict heavy losses on the US military personnel in the ongoing war, but the US always denied these claims and only acknowledged the deaths of 13 personnel. But a New York-based media outlet, Intercept, has accused the US administration of a cover-up, saying that hundreds of US personnel have been killed or injured in the region since Trump and his war criminal Israeli boss launched their illegal military aggression on 28th of February. And try and see the recent sackings of top army generals by Hegseth in this context now. Which upright general would remain silent in such a situation? Watch this broadcast by Fox on how Trump is busy purging the Pentagon.
And we're back. So we have two ousters today, this time from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. He has asked Army Chief of Staff General Randy George to leave his post. George is the Army's most senior general. A defense official says Hegseth asked General George to retire immediately. Now, the ouster comes as the U.S., of course, is battling Iran. Joining me now is Hal Kempfert, a familiar face around here, and on Live Now, a national security analyst, also a retired U.S. Marine. Thank you, and thank you for your service. Let's just get your reaction to this. Is this really a big deal?
Well, Marla, it's a deal. I mean, normally when you become a service chief or chairman of the Joint Chiefs or the vice chair, normally those are 4-year terms. That is not set in stone. That can change, and certainly we've seen a lot of changes. You know, with Pete Hegseth as Secretary of War or Secretary of Defense, he's removed about a dozen flag and general officers. Of course, you may recall he removed C.Q. Brown, Air Force General, who was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs when he came in. He also, Lisa Franchetti, who was the CNO Admiral, head of the Navy, Chief of Naval Operations. And then, of course, General Cruz, Lieutenant General Cruz, head of DIA, and others have been removed as well. So they're not afraid of removing flag and general officers, but this is still a big deal.
Even former military personnel are now openly calling out the criminality of Trump. Listen to this former US Army colonel on Sky News Australia and pay attention to her choice of words for Trump and the US administration.
Let's get back to our top story now, and these are the continuing developments, the troubling developments out of Iran, which is, as we know, showing no sign of slowing down. Joining us live now, the former US Army Colonel, State Department official Anne Wright. She's there with us. Anne, thanks for your time this morning. So the war's ending. Now it's going back to the Stone Ages. Where do you think we are at this hour?
Well, I think it's a pretty stupid thing that Trump and this administration has done to blow up a country like Iran. They say thousands, I think it's 7,000 missile attacks on Iran. Supposedly the danger from Iran was coming from its potential nuclear weapons. Of course, the Iranians have said they would never, ever have a nuclear weapon, and they haven't so far. Trump in his first administration threw out the JCPOA, and then now following the lead of Israel, where the U.S. now is the lapdog of Israel, the United States have mounted a horrific set of attacks, 30 days of attacks on Iran. And sadly, I think the U.S. will pay for this in many, many ways.
Iran was certainly heading towards nuclear, though. Isn't the world safer and better off with that taken out of the picture?
Well, it always has had this nuclear program, and it was under inspection and observation through the JCPOA that Trump threw away. And nuclear inspectors had been back into it. There was no evidence that there was movement toward nuclear weapons, but of course you always have to wonder that. And one would say, if you don't want to be attacked by the United States, you ought to have nuclear weapons, which is a sad state of affairs for that to be the world diplomacy, and for the peace president of the United States now to have severely damaged the civilian infrastructure of Iran, a country, Trump said we're bombing it back to the Stone Age. Well, in the Stone Age, there was a vibrant society in Iran where there was no society to speak of other than the Stone Age in many other parts of the world.
Interestingly, Iran has intensified its attacks on the American targets in the Arab world and also in the settler colony. Iran has claimed to destroy an Oracle data center in Dubai and an Amazon cloud computing center in Bahrain. The Dubai government has denied the claims on the bombing of the Oracle data center, but has not provided any evidence to support its claim. The IRGC's Khatamul Anbiya Brigade also released a video of the UAE's largest AI data center and its exact location, threatening to bomb it next. Now, this is next-level military maneuvering on the precise location of such a hugely important target.
در صورت عملی شدن تهدیدات آمریکا در خصوص نیروگاه‌های ایران بلافاصله اقدامات تنبیهی انجام خواهد شد. همه نیروگاه‌های برق، زیرساخت‌های انرژی و فناوری اطلاعات رژیم صهیونیستی و شرکت‌های مشابه در منطقه که سهامدار آمریکایی دارند به طور کامل تخریب خواهند شد.
Last night, the IRGC in Iran, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Houthis in Yemen coordinated their missile attacks against the settler colony, and boy, the result was simply breathtaking. It was as if there was no resistance from the Israelis in the sky. One video captured the moment when a powerful ballistic missile struck Tel Aviv. Another video captured the moment when nearly a dozen interceptor Israeli missiles failed to stop one Iranian ballistic missile from hitting its target. Al Jazeera later broadcast the devastation caused by these missile attacks.
Iran continues to fire missiles towards Israel. A ballistic missile hit Petah Tikva in central Israel on Thursday evening, bypassing air defense systems. It landed between a residential neighborhood and the city's industrial zone, causing a large crater. The shockwave damaged nearby buildings. Neda Ibrahim is live for us in Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. Neda, give us an update on what's been happening in Israel overnight and into this morning.
Well, the most of the pressure that has been coming into Israel was targeted and focused from the side of Hezbollah, firing rockets and drones into northern Israel mostly. As you mentioned there, this Iranian missile has caused damage in the areas of greater Tel Aviv, caused panic, a large crater, but also severe damage to properties and buildings.
I will leave you with two videos of Iranian resilience. In the first video, an Iranian couple returns home from England, where the family owned a restaurant. This family now says that they would rather die in their own country. Another video is about two Iranian girls explain why Israeli terrorists deliberately target places of historical significance. While the first video would make you emotional, the second video would definitely bring a smile on your face.
از کدوم کشور اومدین؟ انگلستان.
اومدم کشورم. لعنت بهشون که این کشور ما رو اینجوری میکنه، خدا ازشون نگذره.
نمیترسین که جنگ شده الان دارید برمیگردید؟
نه اصلا هیچ میترسم. این همه آدم منم یکیش بچه هم
اگه الان نیایم کی بیان؟ همسرتون هستن؟ بهتر نبود میموندین یه مدت تا حالا جنگ تمام بشه بعد
بمونم چیکار کنم؟ پیش خانواده‌ام بمیرم خیلی قشنگ‌تره تا غربت کنم.
شغلتون چیه اونجا تو لندن؟
من یه قاطنم فصل میزنم تا ابد آینده ایران.
درد کجاست؟ اینکه اونا به اماکن تاریخی ما حمله میکنن ولی ما نمیتونیم حمله کنیم چون اصلا اماکن تاریخی ندارم. بابا حاج آقا جنتی و عمرش از اونا بیشتره. سر سلامت.
That's it from me. Thank you very much for your support of this platform and our journalism. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.